Let me tell you something. There comes a night, a moment when you get hit so hard, so unexpectedly, that it shakes your pride, your confidence, and everything you thought was untouchable. The night Iran crushed Israel's pride. Whether you're in politics or in your personal life, that line ain't just about nations, it's about you. Because sooner or later, life will crush your pride too. People will come for you, enemies you didn't expect, betrayals you didn't see coming. And when you look around for help, guess what? The world stays silent, but that's the lesson, that's the fire. You think power means you'll always win. You think success guarantees applause. No, sometimes power attracts enemies, and silence, that's your test. Because what you do in the silence determines who you really are. Pride can be broken, but strength is what you rebuild with. That's something life teaches you the hard way. We grow up thinking that pride is our armor, that it's the thing that keeps us standing tall when everything else around us falls. But pride is fragile. It's built on how we see ourselves, or worse, how we want others to see us. And the moment life decides to throw something real at you, pride shatters. It doesn't matter how loud you were, how much attention you commanded, how many people looked up to you. When the storm hits, pride is the first thing to go. It's not your pride that's going to keep you standing in the dark, it's your strength. See, there's a difference between pride and strength. Pride is loud, but strength is quiet. Pride needs validation, but strength doesn't care if anyone claps. Pride says, "Look at me," but strength says, "I'll keep moving, even if no one's watching." And when everything falls apart, your plans, your image, your confidence, you're going to have to dig deeper than pride. You're going to need something solid. That's when you discover what you're really made of. That's when strength shows up. But strength doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from applause or success or people telling you how great you are. Strength is forged in silence. It's built when you've been knocked down and nobody's rushing to help you up. It's built when you're hurting and you keep going anyway. That's where the real fire comes from, not the kind you show off to the world, but the kind that burns in your gut when you're dead tired and still pushing forward. So don't worship pride. It'll fool you. It'll make you think you're untouchable until life proves you wrong. Fortify your soul instead. Fortify it with discipline, humility, and purpose, with patience, with the kind of self-respect that doesn't need to be shouted. When pride breaks, and it will, you need something more. And if you've taken the time to build real strength, that deep, quiet, tested kind of strength, then you won't fall apart. You'll bend, maybe. You'll bleed, sure, but you won't break. Let the world do what it does. Let them stay silent. Let them watch. Your job is not to be proud. Your job is to be strong, not for them, not for the applause, but for you, so that when the lights go out, when the night is long, and when no one's coming to save you, you don't fall. You rise, not because you're proud, but because you're powerful. Don't count on the world to clap for you or cry for you. That's one of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn, but it's one of the most important. When you're out there grinding, struggling, doing everything you can just to hold it together, don't expect a standing ovation. Don't expect sympathy either. People are too wrapped up in their own lives. Some don't care, and some are secretly hoping you fail. That's the truth. So if you're waiting for the world to pat you on the back, you might be waiting forever. You have to learn to be your own cheerleader, your own warrior, your own backup, because there will be days when no one believes in you. No one sees the effort. No one sees the tears you've cried behind closed doors or the nights you stayed awake planning your next move. You'll be carrying the weight of your dreams on your back, and it'll feel like you're walking that road alone. And you know what? Sometimes you will be. Sometimes the people you thought would be there for you will disappear when things get hard. That's life, and it hurts, but it also teaches you something vital. The only person who can save you is you. You have to be the one who claps for yourself when you make progress, no matter how small. Celebrate your own victories. Speak life into yourself when your confidence starts to crack. You have to remind yourself why you started in the first place, especially when the road gets rough. Be your own fire. Be your own motivation. Don't wait for anyone to hand it to you because they won't. You've got to dig deep, especially when it's silent, especially when it's cold, and especially when it feels like nobody cares. That's when your real character gets revealed. Being your own backup means having your own back when things fall apart. It means being your own support system when everyone else falls silent. It means saying to yourself, "I've got me," and meaning it. You can't rely on the crowd, because the crowd is fickle. Today they cheer. Tomorrow they disappear. If you base your worth on their noise, you'll be broken the moment it goes quiet. And yes, it gets lonely. But in that loneliness, something incredible happens. You grow, you get stronger, you become unshakable, you stop needing approval, you stop fearing rejection, you stop begging for love or recognition. You realize you were never meant to be carried, you were meant to climb. So clap for yourself, fight for yourself, stand by yourself, because when it's just you and the silence, the only voice that matters is your own. And when that voice says, "I can do this," nothing and no one can stop you. Silence is not weakness. It might feel that way at first, especially when you've been hit hard, when your pride is bruised and you're looking around for someone, anyone, to say something, to stand with you, to speak up. But no one does. The world stays quiet, not because it doesn't see, not because it doesn't know, but because sometimes silence is the response. And in that moment when you hear nothing, no outrage, no support, no sympathy, you begin to understand something deeper. That silence isn't the end. It's not abandonment. It's not failure. It's permission. It's a signal, a challenge, a space for you to rise. When the world goes quiet, that's when the real ones rise. Not the loudest, not the proudest, the strongest. When no one's watching, no one's clapping, no one's there to motivate you, your actions start to speak louder than anything you could ever say. You learn to move without validation, to keep walking without applause. You stop performing and start becoming, and that shift, that transformation, only happens in the silence, because silence strips away the noise, the distractions, the expectations. It leaves you with nothing but yourself, your will, your purpose, your truth. And if you can rise in that, you can rise in anything. It's easy to look strong when people are watching. It's easy to appear powerful when the spotlight is on you, when every move you make is met with cheers. But that's not real power. Real power is built when no one's looking, when no one knows the hell you're going through and you keep going anyway. When you wake up broken, tired, and doubting everything, but you still show up. That's not weakness. That's resilience. That's rising. That's choosing to speak with your actions when the world gives you no microphone. And let's be honest, silence can feel cruel. It can feel like betrayal. But sometimes silence is the very thing that saves you, because it forces you to stop relying on noise, on people, on outside energy to keep you going. Silence demands something deeper. It demands that your fire come from within. That your fight be fueled by something greater than recognition. And when that happens, when you rise from that quiet place, you don't just move, you evolve. You become untouchable. You become someone who doesn't need the world to make noise, because your actions are loud enough on their own. So if you're standing in silence right now, don't mistake it for weakness. Don't let it shake you. Let it shape you. Let it become the space where you build your next move. And when you're ready, rise. Not to be seen, not to be praised, but because rising is what you do. Because your strength doesn't need sound. It only needs truth. You get stronger in the shadows. When nobody's watching, that's when you sharpen your sword. That's when the real growth happens. Not in front of the crowd, not under the lights. not when everyone's clapping and cheering, but when it's just you, the silence, and the struggle. That's where you earn it. That's where character is built, where discipline is born, and where strength is forged. People think power shows up on the stage, but power is created behind closed doors. It's shaped in the lonely hours, the early mornings, the late nights, the days when your body says quit, but your heart says not yet. It's not glamorous. There's no spotlight there. There's no recognition. Just sweat, sacrifice, and silence. Everyone wants to shine, but few are willing to grind in the dark. That's because the shadows are uncomfortable, they're quiet, they're cold, and they don't give you anything for free. You won't find praise there. You won't find validation. But if you stay, if you endure, you'll find something more valuable. You'll find grit. You'll find out who you are when nobody's watching. Because that's the real test, not how you perform when you know people are watching, but how you act when there's no audience, when no one will ever know how hard you worked, how many times you fell and got back up, how many times you chose discipline over comfort. See, people admire strength, but they don't often see where it comes from. They see the victory, but not the preparation. They see the result, but not the sacrifice. What they call talent is really hours and hours of relentless effort that no one ever clapped for. That's the part you have to learn to love. The unseen, unappreciated, uncelebrated part of the journey. Because if you can thrive in the shadows, you'll be unstoppable in the light. When the moment comes, when the opportunity arrives, you won't need to rise to the occasion. You'll already be there, already prepared, already sharpened, because you put in the work when nobody was looking. And that's what sharpening your sword means. It means refining yourself daily, patiently, quietly. It means pushing past your limits not for recognition but for readiness. It means becoming the kind of person who doesn't need motivation because you've built habits that don't depend on mood. It means facing failure over and over again without letting it define you. Every cut, every scar, every ounce of pressure, it's all part of the process. You're being tempered, you're being shaped. And in the shadows, away from the noise, you are becoming dangerous in the best way. So don't fear the shadows, embrace them. Live there for a while. Sharpen your sword, steady your mind, and build your strength. Because when the time comes and the world finally turns its eyes toward you, you won't need to prove anything. You'll already be ready. Every defeat carries a lesson deeper than any victory ever could. It cuts deeper, stays longer, and teaches louder than any moment of applause. Defeat doesn't lie to you. It doesn't sugarcoat the truth. It shows you exactly where you stand. It strips away the ego, the illusion, the comfort. It forces you to face yourself, not the version of you that you show to the world, but the real you, the one who has to figure out what to do when things don't go your way. When the plan fails, when the dream gets crushed, when your pride is shattered into 1,000 pieces and no one's there to help you pick them up, that's when the lesson begins. That's where the purpose starts to form. Pride tells you that you can't lose, that you shouldn't lose, that losing means you're weak, unworthy, a failure. Pride lies. It's loud and insecure, always trying to protect its image. Pride makes you chase perfection, not growth. But purpose is different. Purpose tells you you're not done yet. Purpose doesn't care how bad the fall was. It just cares that you get back up. Purpose doesn't break when you lose. It expands, it deepens. It reminds you why you started in the first place. While pride wants you to be admired, purpose wants you to become unstoppable. The truth is, you learn nothing when everything goes your way. You learn when it doesn't. You grow when it hurts. Victory might feel good, but defeat. Defeat teaches you what you're really made of. It humbles you. It stretches you. It teaches you discipline, patience, and hunger. You begin to understand that pain is a teacher and failure is a tool. You stop seeing setbacks as the end and start seeing them as part of the process, because that's what it is, a process. And every time you get knocked down, every time it doesn't go according to plan, you have a choice. You can either listen to pride, which says it's over, or you can listen to purpose, which says we're not finished. The people who rise the highest in life aren't the ones who have never been defeated. They're the ones who kept coming back, again and again, broken but unshaken, bleeding but still moving forward. They don't let pride get in the way of progress. They don't quit just because they've failed. They study the loss, feel the pain, and come back stronger. That's what separates winners from survivors. It's not about the scoreboard. It's about the soul, about resilience, about having the guts to show up after the worst day of your life and say, "This isn't the end of me." So let pride fall. Let defeat teach. Let purpose lead, because at the end of the day, it's not about how many times you were on top. It's about how many times you stood back up. And when you do, you don't rise as the same person. You rise wiser, tougher, and more dangerous than ever before. Power doesn't come from dominance. It comes from discipline. That's something most people don't understand. They think being powerful means being the loudest voice in the room, the one who gives orders, the one who gets their way through intimidation or control. But real power doesn't look like that. Real power doesn't need to flex. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to be seen or praised. True power is quiet. It's controlled. It's focused. It comes from the choices you make when no one's watching, the habits you stick to when it would be easier to quit, and the standards you hold yourself to even when nobody else is checking. Power isn't found in a moment of dominance. It's built in years of discipline. Discipline is doing the work when you don't feel like it. It's showing up again and again, not because you're motivated, but because you've made a commitment. Discipline is what carries you through when the excitement wears off and the struggle begins. It's waking up early to train when everyone else is sleeping, staying up late to study when others are out having fun, holding your tongue when you could lash out, focusing when the world tries to distract you. It's doing what's right over what's easy. It's not glamorous. No one claps for discipline, but it's the root of everything strong, everything lasting, everything worth building. Dominance is temporary. It comes and goes. People can be dominant for a moment, maybe a season, but if it's not backed by discipline, it fades. That's why some people rise fast and fall even faster. They built their strength on power plays, not on principles. But when the pressure hits, when life starts testing them, dominance can't carry the weight. Only discipline can, because discipline is steady. It's what keeps you grounded when things go wrong, and humble when things go right. It doesn't make you dependent on outside forces. It gives you an inner engine that keeps running no matter what's going on around you. That's the thing about true power. It doesn't come from being in control of others. It comes from being in control of yourself. Your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, your reactions. When you master yourself, no one can truly shake you. People will try to provoke you, distract you, even break you. But if you've trained your mind and your discipline is locked in, you won't be moved. You'll be calm in chaos, focused under fire. That's strength. That's real power, and it's not built overnight. It's built every single day, choice by choice, rep by rep, moment by moment. So forget trying to dominate the world. That's ego talking. Focus on mastering yourself. Show up when it's hard. Stay focused when you're tired. Keep your word even when no one would notice if you didn't. That's how true power is made, not through dominance, but through relentless, unshakable discipline.